Hey, me again. This is the Crucible Act 2, Part 3. I just recorded, or thought I was recording, nearly this whole video, and apparently I didn't hit the record button one time. So anyways, where we left off would have been the new book on page 59, the old book with the red cover, page 62. Okay, so we're coming in. Remember, Elizabeth and John were arguing about whether or not Proctor should go and talk to Abigail. Okay, because basically she wants John to go to her and say, listen, whatever happened, happened. There's nothing between us. I still love my wife, yada, yada, yada. Okay, and basically she wants him to go and tell Abigail that he does not love her. All right. But now we have even bigger problems. Our friends, the Proctors, have even bigger problems, okay? Because now all these people have been accused, and now all these people have been accused, and Elizabeth's name is mentioned, and so now here we go. So they're in the middle of arguing. So picture this, okay? Here they are. They're having this argument, and now someone comes to their door. Okay, remember it's night. Okay, so we're going to start at the part where it says quite suddenly. Page 62 in the old book, page 59 in the new book. Quite suddenly, as though from the air, a figure appears in the doorway. They start slightly. It is Mr. Hale. He is different now, drawn a little, and there's a quality of deference, even of guilt, about his manner now. Good evening. Oh, why, Mr. Hale. Good evening to you, sir. Come in, come in. I hope I do not startle you. No, it's only that I heard no horse. You are Goodwife Proctor? I, Elizabeth. Oh, sorry, that was Proctor saying, I, Elizabeth. I hope you're not off to bed yet. Proctor says, no. Proctor says, we're just not used to visitors after dark, but you're welcome here. Will you sit you down, sir? I will. Let you sit, Goodwife Proctor. She does, never letting him out of her sight. There is a pause as Hale looks about the room. Proctor, feeling this awkwardness, breaks the silence and says, will you drink cider, Mr. Hale? No, it rebels my stomach. I have some further traveling yet tonight. Sit you down, sir. I will not keep you long, but I have some business with you. Business of the court? No. I come of my own, without the court's authority. There's that authority motif. Hear me. And he wets his lips. Now, I know not if you are aware, but your wife's name is mentioned in the court. We know it, sir. Our Mary Warren told us. We are entirely amazed. Now, I am a stranger here, as you know, and in my ignorance, I find it hard to draw a clear opinion of them that come accused before the court. And so, this afternoon and now tonight, I go from house to house. I come now from Rebecca Nurse's house, and Rebecca's charged. God forbid such a one be charged. She is, however, mentioned somewhat. You will never believe, I hope, that Rebecca trafficked with the devil. Woman, it is possible. Surely you cannot think so. This is a strange time, mister. No man may longer doubt the powers of the dark are gathered in monstrous attack upon this village. There is too much evidence now to deny it. You will agree, sir. I have no knowledge in that line, but it's hard to think so pious or devoutly religious. Okay, that's what pious means. But it's hard to think so pious a woman be secretly a devil's bitch after 70 years of good prayer, right? She's been a good Christian, hard-praying woman for 70 years, and now all of a sudden she's in league with the devil. Proctor's like, hello, okay? Hale says, aye, but the devil is a wily one. You cannot deny it. Think of Wile E. Coyote. Sneaky and sly, okay? Remember, Wile E. Coyote is always trying to catch the roadrunner. However, she is far from accused, continues Mr. Hale, and I know she will not be. I thought, sir, to put some questions as to the Christian character of this house, if you'll permit me. Now, what do you think he means by Christian character, okay? Basically, he's trying to find out whether or not they're good Christians or good church people. Proctor is kind of like offended. He's like, why, we have no fear of questions, sir. Good then. Now, in the book of record that Mr. Paris keeps, I note that you are rarely in the church on Sabbath day. No, you are mistaken. 26th time in 17 months, sir. I must call that rare. Will you tell me why you are so absent? Remember I told you they took attendance at church? That's the book of record. Okay? Mr. Hale, I never knew I must account to that man before I come to church or stay at home. Remember, he's talking about Paris. My wife were sick this winter, so I am told. But you, mister, why could you not come alone? And I surely did come when I could, and when I could not, I prayed in this house. Mr. Proctor, your house is not a church. Your theology must tell you that. Theology, your religious teachings, right? It does, sir, it does. And it tells me that a minister may pray to God without he have golden candlesticks upon his altar. What golden candlesticks? Now, since we built the church, there were pewter candlesticks upon the altar. Francis Nurse made them, you know, and a sweeter hand never touched them at all. But Paris came, and for 20 weeks he preached nothing but golden candlesticks until he had them. Now I work the earth from dawn of day till blink of night, and I tell you true, when I look to heaven and see my money glaring at his elbows, it hurt my prayer, sir. It hurt my prayer. I think sometimes the man dreams cathedrals, not clapboard meeting houses. And yet, mister, a Christian on Sabbath day must be in church. Tell me, you have 3 children? Aye, boys. How comes it that only 2 are baptized? I like it not that Mr. Paris should lay his hands upon my baby. I see no light of God in that man. I'll not conceal it. I won't hide it that I don't like the way Paris is as a minister. And then Hale says, I must say it, Mr. Proctor, that is not for you to decide. The man's ordained. Therefore, the light of God is in him. If he's ordained, he's a minister, okay? Remember, the Puritans believed that people who were ministers were like the chosen ones, right? God selected them, okay? Okay. Proctor then says, what's your suspicion, Mr. Hale? No, I have no. I nailed the roof upon the church. I hung the door. Oh, did you? That's a good sign then. It may be that I have been too quick to bring the man to book, but you cannot think that we ever desired the destruction of religion. I think that's in your mind, is it not? There is a softness in your record, sir, a softness, okay? So he's saying, listen, there's some bad things against you. There are holes in your record. You didn't go to church, okay? You've been absent from church 27 times or 26 times or however many times it is. What did he say? 26 times in 17 months, okay? Your last kid is not baptized. What's the deal, okay? And basically Proctor says, well, listen, this guy, Paris, he's all about money. He basically wants us to have these gold candlesticks, and he's like, I work my butt off, and when my money, because remember, they like all kind of paid some taxes to pay the minister's salary. When I go to church and I see these candlesticks, I see my money up there with him. And the candlesticks that Francis Nurse made, which were pewter, which is like a more simple, economical, metal, like a gray stone color, those weren't good enough for Paris. So Proctor sees that Paris is kind of an a-hole, okay? All right, but Hale is like, listen though, dude, he's the minister. You gotta like submit and obey, and it's making you look bad, okay? So basically now Elizabeth is trying to intervene to make her husband look a little bit better. She says, this is on page 66 of the Red Book. And in the new book, it's on page 63. Okay? So now Elizabeth says, I think maybe we have been too hard with Mr. Paris. I think so. But sure, we never loved the devil here. Do you know your commandments, Elizabeth? I surely do. There be no mark of blame upon my life, Mr. Hale. I am a covenanted Christian woman. And you, mister? I'm sure I do, sir. Well, let you repeat them, if you will. The commandments. Aye. And this is Proctor looking off and then beginning to sweat. So he says, thou shalt not kill. Aye. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's goods, nor make unto thee any graven image. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord in vain. Thou shalt not, however, have no other gods before me. Ugh. Thou shalt remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Thou shalt honor thy father and mother. Thou shalt not bear false witness. It says he is stuck and he counts. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. You have said that twice, sir. Mr. Hale says, aye. And then Elizabeth says, adultery, John. And then Proctor, as though a secret arrow had pained his heart. Aye. You see, Mr. Hale, between the two of us, we do know them all. I think it may be a small fault. Theology, sir, is a fortress. No crack in a fortress may be accounted small. There be no love for Satan in this house, mister. I pray it dearly. He looks at both of them in an attempt at a smile on his face, but his misgivings are clear. He says, Well then, I'll bid you good night. And then Elizabeth says, wait, Mr. Hale, I do think you are suspecting me somewhat, are you not? Goody Proctor, I do not judge you. My duty is to add what I may to the godly wisdom of the court. I pray you both good health and good fortune. Good night, sir. Then Elizabeth then says with a note of desperation, I think you must tell him, John. What's that? Will you tell him? There's a slight pause, and Hale now looks questioningly at John. I have no witness and cannot prove it, except my word be taken. But I know the children's sickness had naught to do with witchcraft. Naught to do with... Mr. Parris discovered them sporting in the woods. They were startled and took sick. Who told you this? Abigail Williams. Abigail? Aye. Abigail Williams told you it had naught to do with witchcraft? She told me the day you came, sir. Why? Why did you keep this? I never knew until tonight that the world has gone daft with this nonsense. Remember what daft means? Silly, crazy, ridiculous. Hale says, nonsense! Mister, I myself have examined Tituba, Sarah Good, and numerous others have confessed to dealing with the devil. They have confessed it. Proctor says, and why not? If they must hang for denying it, there are them that will swear to anything before they'll hang. Have you ever thought of that? I have. I have indeed. And you, would you testify to this in court? I had not reckoned with going into court, but if I must, I will. Do you falter here? Do you hesitate? I falter nothing, but I may wonder if my story will be credited in such a court. Are people going to believe me, is what he's saying. I do wonder on it, when it's such a steady-minded minister as you will suspicion such a woman that never lied and cannot, in the world knows she cannot. I may falter somewhat, mister. I am no fool. Hale says, Proctor, let you open with me now, for I have a rumor that troubles me. It is said that you hold no belief that there may even be witches in this world. Is that true, sir? Proctor says he knows this is critical and is striving against his disgust with Hale and with himself for even answering. He says, I know not what I have said. I may have said it. I have wondered if there be witches in the world, although I cannot believe they come among us now. So he's like, yeah, sure, there may be witches, but I don't think they're here, okay? Then you do not believe. I have no knowledge of it. The Bible speaks of witches, and I will not deny them. And you, woman? I cannot believe it. You cannot! Elizabeth, you bewilder him. Okay, bewilder is confused. You're confusing him. Elizabeth says, I cannot think the devil may own a woman's soul, Mr. Hale, when she keeps an upright way, as I have. I am a good woman. I know it. And if you believe I may do only good work in the world, and yet secretly be bound to Satan, then I must tell you, sir, I do not believe it. But woman, you do believe there are witches, and if you think that I am one, then I say there are none. You surely do not fly against the gospel. The gospel, she believed in the gospel, every word. Remember, the gospel is the Bible, okay? Elizabeth says, question Abigail Williams about the gospel, not myself. She do not mean to doubt the gospel, sir. You cannot think it. This be a Christian house, sir. A Christian house. Remember, they're trying to prove that they're good Christians. Hale says, God keep you both. Now let the third child be quickly baptized, and go you without fail each Sunday to Sabbath prayer, and keep a solemn, quiet way among you. I think... Now Giles Corey appears in the doorway. Dun, dun, dun!